Welcome back. Thank you for staying with the broadcast. As one of 7 selected brand ambassadors, Lashley Moto Winter says he is honored that his contribution to the development of the Dennery segment genre has been recognized on such a grand scale. Winter anticipates that this title and its benefits will bolster his abilities to broaden the reach and recognition of the developing genre. Jacques Wooding reports.
What you say? Top right, top right, top right. Then nom you aimé, nom you aimé.
In addition to the Ministry of Culture's Goodwill Ambassadors Program, Minister Fortuna Belrose also announced the newly developed Brand Ambassadors Program, which will appoint 7 of the nation's most well-known talents to be the face of St. Lucia's tourism product. Upon receiving news of his selection, local producer and artist Lashley Moto Winter says he is elated to be officially instated as an ambassador for his country.
And
I want to leave towards the day that soca music actually got a nomination in the Grammys or a category on iTunes. You know, that's really make me happy. So I'm going to work towards that all of 2020, being that I'm a brand ambassador now for St. Lucia. I'm going to take it to the world. I feel honored to be chosen as a brand ambassador for St. Lucia. I mean, I've been doing this for a good while now. I mean, if people really follow my work from 10 years ago, when we actually pioneered, one of the pioneers of the Dennery segment was me. Shout out to all the musicians in St. Lucia that have done extra work on the Dennery segment too. But thus far, I appreciate that the government see the talent, they see the work most of us put in, see the work I put in.
Some benefits which Winter and the other brand ambassadors will receive are income tax exemption on income received from foreign sources, visa facilitation, insurance of an official passport, access to developmental assistance from CDF, and access to grant funding to facilitate procurement of specialized equipment. Winter says he believes that this initiative will go a long way in the development of the music industry, where he has identified several key areas of weakness which he would like to see addressed.
I mean, I believe that we have a lot of work to do as far as production-wise, writing-wise. I feel like the younger artists need to know the business a little bit more. So, I mean, government officials should open a few more workshops. So the bigger heads or people in the industry or has been in the industry could teach what they know, so that the younger artists and the younger talents could master the craft.
Winter, along with the 6 other brand ambassadors, will officially be commissioned on the 20th of January 2020. For 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
The announcement of Goodwill and Brand Ambassadors by Minister Fortuna Belrose has been met with mixed feelings by members of the public. Solange Alfred took to the streets to get their opinion, and many were questioning why one local sportsman was not featured on the list.
A recent announcement made by Minister for Culture Fortuna Belrose listed a number of individuals as Goodwill Ambassadors and Brand Ambassadors for St. Lucia. So we reached out to members of the public, asking them to weigh in on the chosen candidates. This is what they had to say.
The idea of brand ambassadors is not a bad one. In fact, some years ago, I actually advocated trade ambassadors, trade commissioners, that sort of thing. But we have to be very clear and very transparent into the type, what is criteria that was used in selecting those persons, and exactly what it is they need to do. I mean, we into a situation now where we heard so much about those diplomatic passports and things of that sort. It raises a number of issues.
My first question is, what are the criteria for the assessment? And some of the persons on that list, the question is, should or should they be there, because of the fact that they may not exactly represent everything, and some persons who could have been may not have been on that list. So the question is, what are the criteria? First of all, I have to ask, what are the criteria before I can actually say I agree the list or not? because it's important that when you create a brand ambassador, that they represent your country. So then I need to know what the criteria is for choosing those persons, and if are there any persons who could have been better brand ambassadors than them.
Well, that then we segmenting correct in the nation, you check it, them kind of music, all girls going astray, you check it, that ain't making no sense.
So you don't believe that then segment artists should be brand ambassadors?
No. That ain't making no sense, man. That's corruption, more corruption.
Well, I personally believe that, one, we need to recognize our sportsmen and sportswomen. But I think it is just the eve of election. It's just a gimmick, tricks and stuff to award those people and let them realize that you're ambassadors for your country, you played sports and things. But I think right now, why couldn't we do it? Why couldn't the minister did that about 2 years, 3 years ago? Why now on something? I find it just, what's more to do until even when she was a permanent secretary, what happened? What she did nothing. I personally believe it's just a game and something. And I think for Tuna Belrose, I think right now you need to come better.
As it relates to Johnson Charles, we do think that there is merit in the discussions that have been had as it relates to his inclusion in the list. Johnson Charles, of course, would have been part of both of the World T20 winning squads. Johnson Charles was the second St. Lucian to represent the West Indies, and he has been making a contribution. This year, last year he won the CPL with the Barbados Tridents, and he, of course, has been representing St. Lucia out there. So definitely, there is a case for including Johnson Charles in the Goodwill Ambassadors.
Yeah, there is a lot of people they put, but I wonder why they put Charles. But Charles, you know, Charles made the team win already. The last time he was in Barbados, and you know what happened. But why they haven't got our little Charlie there? All the rest of the name, I have no problem with it. But I feel our little Charles is supposed to have his share or his room.
The rumblings seem to be centered on the point that Johnson Charles may have been snubbed from the list. So we reached out to Johnson Charles, and this is what he had to say.
Well, my brand is Johnson Charles, so if I'm not chosen for as brand ambassador, to me, it doesn't affect me. But it is what it is.
And what about those individuals that were chosen? Do you think that was a good decision? So those that represent the sporting field, I know that Darren Sammy was chosen.
Well, it's not my place to say if it's a good decision or not, but whoever, if they work for it and they got it, then that's good. But it's not really my position or my place to say if it's a good decision or not.
Two big names to represent the island as Goodwill Ambassadors are Darren Sammy and Lovin Spencer. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Those were your views. Thank you, Solange. One day after Hot 7 TV aired a snippet of the first episode of The Hot Seat with guest Fortuna Belrose, the leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, is firing back. The Castries East UWP candidate stated that she felt confident that she could win the seat when she goes up against Pierre in the next general election. In response, Pierre is laughing off the notion, saying that he is in no way worried.
During Tuesday's airing of the Hot 7 Nightly News, a snippet of the first episode of The Hot Seat for the year 2020 was shown, featuring the Castries East UWP candidate, Senator Fortuna Belrose, who said not only is she planning on running against long-standing Castries East MP Philip J. Pierre in the next general elections, she is confident that she can win. Belrose stated that Pierre, who has retained the seat for over 2 decades, has lost touch with the needs of the people who keep voting him in office. Well, this statement did not escape the ears of the opposition leader himself, leading to him giving a witty response to Belrose's statement during a Wednesday afternoon press meeting.
It's our privilege to dream. I dream sometimes. But I'll tell you something. It's not about me, it's about the people of Castries East, it's about people of Castries East. And then I was at a constituency yesterday, and I spoke to people. I am very confident that the people of Castries East understand what I'm going through. You must also understand that in my 25 years, 10 of these years, I have not been in government. And it's been an official government policy. It's been an official government policy to keep me away from developmental funds for the constituency.
Referring to her statement on him losing touch with the needs of the people in the constituency, namely those in the Marsha community, Pierre said he is deliberately being held back from his duties in an attempt to make him look like a failure.
In the last Christmas stimulus, $60,000 was allocated to the constituency. I was given 10. And I want to make it clear, it's no issue with the SSDF. I was given $10,000 on the 18th of December. So I understand these things. But the people of the constituency know, they live there. In fact, I still live. So I don't come in and come back out. So anytime I live there, so I live in the environment of my constituency. The people know me. The same tricks that were tried before are being tried now, but I'm not getting involved. I've got other things to deal with. I've got other serious and realistic development plans to deal with for my constituency when I'm in government again, as I've done.
Pierre continued on to imply that the UWP administration is very much responsible for the state of the community in question.
I'd prefer if they would repair what I've done, if they would not allow the facility in George Charles Boulevard, a $1 million facility built after a whole socio and economic study by the Caribbean Development Bank. I would have preferred if they didn't allow it to decay. I would have preferred if they maintained the children's parking to it. I would have preferred that and stop playing the politics that they play. But as I said, everyone has a right to dream.
The next general elections are due to be held in the year 2021. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, and the St. Lucia Animal Protection Society SLAPS is finding this out the hard way as it is now facing eviction. The organization is pleading for help in finding a suitable new home for 70-plus animals staying at the shelter. Director Pamela DeVoe says the current Massat location has been purchased and the new owner wishes to clean house.
The island's lone animal protection society is appealing to the St. Lucian government as well as corporate St. Lucia for help with finding a new home to house the 70-plus animals in their care. The St. Lucian Animal Protection Society's current location in Massat Grosley has been sold, resulting in an eviction notice being served with the requirement that the building be evacuated by the 28th of February 2020. President of SLAPS, Pamela DeVoe, said the building's new owner has not given much time, so their predicament is critical.
We're really in a desperate situation. I mean, it's not like an office where you can pack up your machinery and your boxes. We're talking about creatures, live animals. So we're sort of scrambling. We're trying to get an appointment with government, with the Prime Minister. He has indicated that he wants to help SLAPS. We have been going for over 21 years now. We do provide a service which no one else on the island provides, which is taking care of the, tossed out animals, injured animals, vulnerable animals.
DeVoe said despite their worries, the organization remains busy, and so she reminded persons to get their pets spayed and neutered.
The main thrust really is spaying and neutering. There's so many unwanted puppies and kittens born, and it's a slow process getting the message through, but people are realizing that if they're going to have an animal, they and their animal are going to be happier, live better lives if they don't keep breeding, and then they have to literally throw away the puppies. We literally pick up bags and boxes tied up, strapped down in the garbage where people are throwing them away, and it's heartbreaking.
DeVoe said considering the service they provide, she is not asking for much.
If Crown Lands could find a little piece of land, they can't stick us out in the woods somewhere. It's got to be get-atable. It's got to, because of security and people bringing animals. A lot of people bring animals to be spayed and neutered. Volunteers have to get there. Some come on bicycles. So we need just not a huge piece of land, but it's got to be fairly flat. It's got to be reasonably close to water and electricity and get-atable, which I know obviously around here is prime land.
The SLAP's president said she is hoping that in the meantime, whilst they are looking for another space, the new owners will give them a little more time to get their affairs in order. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Michelle Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.